Well, thanks for joining me today and appreciate your time. I'm doing this because we hear so much about how difficult it is to find good people these days and the Great Resignation and all of that. And I wanted to know what's happening here in my hometown of Louisville, Kentucky. So that's
Yeah, well, I will gladly tell you.
for those in our audience that have not had the absolute pleasure of dining with you.
Yeah.
Would you like to share a little bit about Biscuit Belly and what you do and how long you've been doing it?
Yeah, so we are a fast casual breakfast brunch concept. We started in 2019 with our first location in Nulu, and since grown to the St. Matthews neighborhood, as well as our most recent opening in Middletown. We've also branched out into other cities such as Evansville, Indiana, and through franchising, we have signed 4 deals worth about another 15 or 20 stores or so in the Southeast. So we've got locations in Lexington, and they're going to continue to grow their market, and as well as Atlanta. And then we open basically 2 Alabama stores back to back. Starting, our trainers go down to Hoover, Alabama, right outside of Birmingham this Friday. That location will open January 31st, I believe. And then they come back, take a week break, and then go back to Huntsville, Alabama. And that location will open kind of late February-ish. So, and then we've raised some money here locally to do some more locations in Virginia and North Carolina. And yeah, we've got some more interest in North Carolina and Charlotte, as well as maybe Texas, Florida. So who knows? Who knows what this next year will bring for us?
Wow, that is so exciting. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
So, what are some of the key issues you're seeing with employment, particularly the hospitality industry?
Yeah, it has gotten a lot better now. For us, at least for us, I can't speak to everyone, though. I would imagine most people would say it is still a struggle. I feel like we're pretty much back to kind of 2019 as far as the availability of workers. It was obviously the worst in kind of the March 2020 to, and it's gotten incrementally better ever since. A lot of the stimulus money, kind of the extra unemployment money has stopped. Now that wasn't like a light switch that came on and then just everyone comes rushing back to work. I mean, it was a very slow trend upwards. And I remember in Evansville, which is more difficult than Louisville. I think this is the first time we ever used like an automated like resume, like texting application platform. And I think we had 125, 150 or so people apply for that new store opening. And this was when the extra stimulus money was still going on, kind of that summer of 21 time period. So about 125 to 150 that applied. I think 75 people actually submitted a time to show up for an interview. I think 30 or 40 people showed up, and I think to interview, and I think we had like 20 or 25 show up for the first day of work. And we pretty much hired everybody that, if you have a pulse and can fog a mirror, we pretty much hired you because we had to have the numbers, and we were like, all right, well, we'll take some chances on some of these people, even though they may not be, the perfect fit. But yeah, it's gotten easier now. The wage factor has definitely grown. So in the restaurant industry, that's one of our major costs is labor. And so that is definitely up compared to 2019. And I would say probably 15 to 25%, give or take. Um, Especially for some of the more the skilled labor from the culinary, kitchen line cooks and prep and whatnot. Those have definitely gone up.
So, what makes your business stand out in terms of an employee culture? Why would somebody want to work for you as opposed to the person next door?
Yeah, I think one of the big advantages that we have is we're a daytime concept. We, I think, tend to get a better employee because of that. Just because they've got to be responsible enough to get to work sometimes at 6 a.m., 7 a.m. That means you can't, you know, party and do crazy things on the weekends and still have a job. So I think that they're off by 3:30, 4 o'clock, especially for some of our more like upper management, so general managers or shift leaders, kitchen managers, etc. That's very attractive because if you have a family, you can still have a life. You can still have dinner with the kids and the husband or wife. We tend to skew pretty heavily female with families, so I think that lends itself to just more responsible, people take again like looking for a steady job with morning hours, so they can be home for the family and be supportive in that way. So I think that again helps, but I feel too that we've really put a lot of emphasis on who we are from a culture standpoint, and that all starts with hiring and onboarding. And we look for certain traits that kind of meet our core values, and you hope that if they kind of if you feel like it's a good fit in the beginning and you're not just panic hiring, that it makes the longevity better, it makes the training process better, onboarding, and we've seen just better results as far as longevity and just the type of person when we are hiring specifically for a cause instead of just hiring to fill a need very quickly.
Okay, that all makes great sense.
Yeah.
So, as you've grown, what kind of challenges have you learned? I mean, you've mentioned hiring values, but is there anything else that you've learned in terms of building a team from either a mistake you made or from being lucky?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that we have learned is, especially when growing uh, and trying to scale a business like this, is there's two kinds of capital. There's the financial capital that you definitely need, right? The money to be able to grow and build new stores, and franchising is very expensive. You're basically front loading a lot of the expense in hopes that you sign and get open about 15 or 20 locations, and that's kind of your break even point, is that 15-ish 15th-ish location. And there's the human capital. And one thing I have definitely learned throughout this process is you get what you pay for from a human capital standpoint, and the experience that some people bring, and they cost more money, but they're worth it. And I'd rather have one person that's higher, very well compensated, that has grown a brand before and understands the pitfalls and how to be financially responsible in a startup, and the fact that you don't have like an infinite budget like you would at a Texas Roadhouse or a KFC or something like that. I think that's one of the things that's really come to light for me, because we've hired kind of our first, experience, like super experienced, out of roadhouse person, and it's kind of night and day what they bring. And we also owned, I don't know if you know this, or your listeners or viewers know this, but we owned a Luvino before. We started that in 2014 and grew that to 5 locations in 3 different states. And we had always just promoted from within, because like, oh, that's what good companies do, right? They always promote from within and it makes you feel good. But it's like, not, your best barista doesn't make your best manager, and your best manager doesn't make your best multi-unit leader, and your best multi-unit leader doesn't make your best, COO or CEO. It's we just had to get more strategic with our hires as far as, okay, well, what exact skill set do we want this person to have? And let's go out and find that person, not just find someone within our organization that best fits that.
Right.
So anyway, that's really the key thing that is my biggest takeaway from the past couple of years is, and again, too, like people that had a ton of Panera experience or O'Charlie's or Applebee's, like that's, even they may have 20 years of experience in some sort of, higher level role, that still may not be who we need, because we need a builder, not like a rule follower. We almost like need a rule breaker in a way, who has like the entrepreneurial spirit and goes out and kind of paves the path versus just follows the path that's been paved for them. So anyway, we're trying to find rule breakers, rule breakers that can like build something from scratch versus like checklist is handed to them that's already been used 10 years before.
So have you strategically empowered these people to be able to know when to break the rules? It's a lot of trust and faith on your part.
Yeah, I mean, we've always let people have a good amount of autonomy, and I also don't think that that's been super wise, because some of the people that we've put into their roles haven't. I mean, they're kind of figuring out the job themselves. Like they don't have experience in that role or know how to build X, Y, or Z. And so it's kind of like, hey, just figure it out. Like we're kind of building the car as we're driving it down the road. But that comes with, well, it's going to take longer. You have to have several different versions before you get it right. Maybe it's not the best possible, product at the end of the day. Where if you get someone with experience, they know exactly what to do and the questions to ask and how to build it from their experience. So yeah, and honestly, like my wife and we're both pharmacists by training. Like I kid around with people, but it's true that the very first time we worked in a restaurant was the night we opened the Luvino store on Bardstown Road. We just always hired really well, and but again, like hiring for one store for a single concept is different than hiring for a franchise system that you're trying to scale. And so we've just got to get, I mean, we have a great team, but we just got to get people that have done this and built something from scratch.
So if you were going to start this journey over again, is there anything that you would do differently?
Yeah, I think it goes back to that human capital piece, and maybe hiring more experience earlier, or just not have promoted our best X, Y, or Z into spots that they may be underqualified for. Because we just kind of, I wouldn't say we wasted a lot of time or anything, but we built a lot of beta tests, right? Where we could have just had the final product done, much sooner, and probably had a more streamlined system earlier. But people have been impressed with what we've built thus far. I'm not trying to poo-poo on what we've done by any means. It's just different having somebody that's done it before versus someone that hasn't. And and I don't think that's set us back or anything. I think we could have been further ahead by now, but it's not like these people like held us back to where they still helped us get there, like get where we are today.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you alluded to this at the beginning, but I mean, where's Biscuit Belly going? You're franchising, you're opening stores. What's the future? What's the end game?
Yeah, brunch is really hot right now. We are still doing a lot of research within our own customer base and figuring out, okay, well, how can we be that premier, breakfast brunch brand? And so, yeah, I mean, we're continuing to work on branding and marketing and menu innovation and gosh, all kinds of stuff just to try to stay ahead, not fall behind of trends and whatnot. But our goal is to be in the next, or at least our 10-year goal, whatever it was 2 years ago. So we've got 8 more years, I guess, to get this, is to be the biggest, at least biscuit focused restaurant in the US. I think this could pretty easily be a 50 to 100 unit, chain. I hate the word chain, but we'll call it brand.
Okay.
So, we're focusing on the Southeast. We're not trying to do a couple here in Kentucky and then one in California, one in Florida, one in, Maine or New York or anything. We're trying to grow the right way and stay as close to home as we can, just because we don't want to kill ourselves and travel and all that. So yeah, I think we can be a pretty big brand in the future. We'll have probably, I don't know, 14 or 15 open by the end of this year. And we hope this is kind of our hockey stick year where we see kind of the start of that exponential growth. But our main focus right now is making our stores as profitable as they can be, because those are the store sales and economics that we can share with potential franchisees. And then we need to make our franchisees happy as well, because prospective or potential franchisees can talk to current franchisees and they can say whatever. We are very audited by certain rules and whatnot of what we can say. I should say censored as far as what we can say. But if we have a franchise base and owners that are doing numbers that are as expected or better, and they're as profitable as expected or better, then nothing sells success like success. So our focus is on that and making them as profitable as they can be, and providing that support. And we feel that the rock will continue to roll down the hill and momentum will be gained if that happens.
Well, you said nothing sells success like success, but I'm going to add a really good biscuit in there.
Yeah.
It's a great selling point as well.
Yeah. That definitely helps for sure.
Well, obviously I'm a customer and a fan, and everyone who comes in from out of town, that's where we go for brunch. And I have at least one family in Phoenix that is waiting for the one to open in Phoenix.
We would love it. I think Arizona would do very well. It's a little stretch out of the territory, but if we ever.
But I have great faith that you'll get there.
Well, yes. Maybe give us a couple years. We'll be there.
And thank you so much for your insights. I really, really appreciate it. And one of the things that we do at Action Coach, the employee engagement program we do is Engage and Grow. And we do an employee engagement survey, and it takes your employees 3 to 5 minutes to fill out. It's completely confidential. It's totally anonymous, and it gives you a good sense of what your employees are thinking. So I will send some details to that in an email, but I want to offer that to you as a thank you for being my guest today.
Great. Yeah, absolutely.
It's something you could do by location or by shift. Lots of flexibility on that.
Okay,
And, we also offer some management training. It's a
great.
12 program, meet once a week, and very affordable. It's $100 a week per person. So if you do have internal people that you think have potential, but they've never managed people before or never
Yeah,
managed a business, that's also an option for you. We want to make that very affordable because it's so needed. I'm
yeah,
sure that you had a brilliant education in pharmacy, but I don't know how much business they covered or if they did any people skills. Obviously, you
zero.
figured it out, but not everybody does. So,
Yeah, no, that'd be great.
okay. Again, thank you so much. We're going to get this edited. It'll be posted on our social media channels, and I'll send you the link, and you can also post it on yours. So,
Okay,
uh, I think it'll be great. A great recruiting tool for you, as well as maybe sharing with your franchisees about the
okay,
things that are going on and the great future ahead for Biscuit Belly.
awesome. Well, I appreciate your time and consideration.
All right. Thanks so much, Chad.
All right, take care. Bye bye.
Bye.